I'm going.
Introduce
Oh,
yourself.
my name's Carmen.
Natalie.
Maya.
Nicolette,
Julie.
friend.
Just a minute.
Okay. All right. So how traditional marriages have changed since the 60s. Okay, let's take a journey back to the 60s when women worked in the home and men were responsible for bringing in the family's income. This was a time when drive-in movie theaters and the Beatles were hot. A lot has changed since then, including marriages since the 60s. Today, divorce rates are much higher, gay marriage is legal, and gender roles are not necessarily followed. In the 60s, divorce rates were much lower than they are today. Back then, the divorce rate was as low as 25%. In 2014, sources show that 50% or half of marriages end in divorce. In today's society, divorce is more common than it was back then. In the 60s, people would look at you differently after you got a divorce, whereas today, nothing is out of ordinary. It has also become a lot easier to get a divorce. In 1969, Ronald Reagan signed a bill that passed an no-fault divorce law, meaning that one spouse was able to dissolve the marriage for any or no reason. This took the legal power out of marriage, binding husband and wife, and made it seem not as important or as special as it once was. Another thing that has an impact on marriages today is the rapid growth of gay marriage. Many years ago, this was judged crucially. In today's society, there are parades and even a gay pride month. The first gay rights demonstration was held in America on September 19th, 1964. Now there are 17 states that gays can legally marry in. Last but not least, in the 60s, the men went to work while the women stayed home. The wife took care of the housework and the children. Today, both men and women have to work to be able to support children or lead a decent lifestyle. In certain cases, when there is a single mom or dad, they have to make up for the lack of income from not having that help from the second person. Another thing that can also go against the men working and the women staying home is that there is not always a man and a woman. With the gay right movements, there may be 2 men or 2 women in a household. From these examples of how marriage has changed, you can also see a change in generation. Couples are waiting until they are older to get married and start a family. There are more job and schooling opportunities to take advantage of, so many spend more time finding out who they are and exploring different pathways. The Supreme Court describes marriage as 2 people becoming something greater than they once were. This is how the world sees marriage now. This is the new normality.